Today we're here from naturalized US citizens while they're casting a ballot on November the 8th. Stay with us, you don't want to miss this very special two-part stream event.
With my vote, I will be saying, I want my country to remain a country for all.
I support Mr. Trump as a Latino. I think he's got great ideas such as to get rid of Common Core.
Palestinian American, I really do not think whether Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, I don't think it will make any difference as far as the Palestinian question is concerned.
I came to the U.S. 15 years ago as a refugee. Being an American, it means a lot. It means you have a right to vote, and voting is not only your right, but it's your civic duty.
I feel really sad because I'm not going to be able to vote this year and to make my voice heard.
And especially, I want my country to remain open for people like me, who at some point in their lives had no other place to go.
I'm voting for Hillary Clinton. While she's probably not the best candidate for Middle Eastern interests, there's no question she's the best candidate for America.
Thanks so much to members of our community for sharing their stories. Immigrants to the United States often see the country as a symbol of equality, justice and economic opportunity. For some, taking the oath of citizenship and investing in the future of their adopted land is casting a ballot and participating in the democratic process.
Immigrants historically have low attendance at the polls, but research shows this election cycle has motivated more people than ever to register. And it's possible the divisive policies and politics around both presidential candidates' immigration platforms have been one reason why. Here are Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton in some of their own words from the last presidential debate.
Now, I want to build the wall. We need the wall. The Border Patrol, ICE, they all want the wall. We stop the drugs. We shore up the border.
I don't want to rip families apart. I don't want to be sending parents away from children.
One of my first acts will be to get all of the drug lords, all of the bad ones. We have some bad people in this country that have to go out.
It means you would have to have a massive law enforcement presence, where law enforcement officers would be going school to school, home to home, business to business, rounding up people who are undocumented.
Joining our stream town hall today, Saba Ahmed is president of the Republican Muslim Coalition. She emigrated to the United States from Pakistan. Jeannie Nguyen is president of the Voice of Vietnamese Americans. She came to the United States as a refugee from Vietnam. Jesse Singh is founder of Sikh Americans for Trump. He emigrated to the US from India.
And joining us via Skype, Loida Zorge is an immigration lawyer. Her family, originally from Mozambique, immigrated to the United States from France. Myra Campos Segura and her husband, Anthony Segura. Myra immigrated to the U.S. from Mexico. Rafael Flores is a Republican political consultant. He immigrated to the United States from El Salvador. AJ and his daughter Sana Siddiqui are also joining us. AJ is an accountant and immigrated to the U.S. from Pakistan. Sana was born in the U.S.
And Emabet Bakalar, she is an insurance agent and she emigrated to the United States from Ethiopia. Thank you, voters. Hello, voters. Thank you for being part of the stream today and part of the stream town hall. Hello.
Beautiful. Hi. Glad to be here.
That's what 10 Voices sounds like. Yes.
Hello. Nice to be here with
the American dream right here. All right, so let me just poll your mood. Raphael, what are you feeling like now, just before voting day in the United States? How are you feeling? What's your mood?
I'm feeling very happy that finally this is going to be over in hopefully the next 30 hours. I'm so happy and so looking forward to this crazy election. But it's going to be an exciting day tomorrow, 100%. So I want to encourage everyone, and especially my Latino brothers and sisters, to please go out and vote. We need to send a very strong message that the Latinos participate in the president election. So I'm very happy and looking forward to tomorrow's results.
Emabet, what's your mood right now?
Tired, excited, but also very tired. I want this election to be over, but motivated. I think my candidate is going to win, so I'm actually very anxious of that. Go Hillary. Go out and vote, everybody.
I love to see everybody just who's in our town hall right now on Skype. Just if you are so done with this election, put your hand up. Just raise your hand. Yay. Malika.
Well, there are people who are excited, a little bit more excited, and if you can imagine, there are probably people who are voting for the first time. So we actually heard from one of those people. This is Adamu, who says he's a new American. He sent us a video comment about what voting for him was like. Here's what he told us.
For many of the elderly new citizens who still struggle with the English language, having community leaders who can help them with interpretation in the voting place and facilitate a smooth voting experience is also key. A week ago, I voted along with 17 other new Americans. When we came in through the door, one of the poll workers started asking us a barrage of questions. If we were citizens, where were we coming from, who we are, a question that I did not see her ask other people who were coming right behind us. Was this because the way we look, or we look different, or was it something else?
So you could hear the excitement in his voice, Jeannie, but then you could also hear how that excitement kind of turned into dismay when he felt he was discriminated against at the polls. I know that you had been helping to register new voters in the Vietnamese immigrant community. Have you heard stories like this? Do you hear worries like this?
Yes, I have a lot of concerns about being discriminated as a color people and also Vietnamese Americans. We have a different way to spell our names. The name can be reversed, the last name first, first name last. And there's concern that people may use that to not letting the voters know. So every season, we've been doing this for many seasons now, we always tell our voters to always try to vote, even if a provisional vote, and then it will be clarified afterward. But we do wanted all of our Vietnamese American voters to come out and vote tomorrow if you haven't voted yet. And we're now having a hotline that I would be one to answer the hotline by Vietnamese to help. And it's your right to have translation in Vietnamese if you're unable to, and you can request that right at the polls. And at the last resort, there is a hotline, it's called APIA Vote Hotline.
Is anyone else expecting it to be difficult to vote if you still have to vote tomorrow? Anyone else expecting any difficulties, challenges?
I don't think so. I'm actually work for the county, and I will be working the polls tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we are set up so that we can actually translate Vietnamese, Spanish, Navajo, Aztec, and one other indigenous language. So we're already prepared here in Albuquerque, New Mexico to do that, and in the state.
That's wonderful. We
have a large Vietnamese population here.
Thank you, that's wonderful. I've been an election officer before, and I must say that the process is very meticulous, very non-partisan, and everybody work very seriously to take their position very seriously to make sure the voter is being respected. So I must say that we've done everything from the election officers, the election commission side, to make sure that the voters are secure and get to vote their voice. However, there are other mistakes and there are other rules around it, like the recent voter IDs rules, and there's recent time where we try to expand the early voting times and it's cut down. There are times that we're trying to promote absentee voting and it's not supported.
Jeannie, let me just bring in Jessie sitting right by you. Jessie, I'm going to bring you in via your Twitter profile picture on my laptop. How did you get to be in this position, standing next to Donald Trump?
I've been supporting Mr. Trump the day he announced his candidacy, and I really think there is time for change in this country. I was very much impressed by his policies. Sometimes it seemed like when he used to talk, it used to be like he's talking of what an average American is talking at home. Issues he brought up, I used to talk with my friends, hey, this is what needs to be changed, this is what the issues are, and he said the same thing. So I immediately felt like I was connected to him. And that's how I became his supporter, and I'm still supporting him. And I'm very confident that we're going to win this election tomorrow.
I felt differently because I felt that the change has been made by President Obama. One of Obama's motto at the time he was running was change. And he has changed our country from being just very in the crisis, economy crisis, where unemployment rate was like 10% down to today of 4%. He brought jobs back. And then I also am used to be a nurse, an RN, and I see how bad.
Have you met him?
Met President Obama?
No, have you met Donald Trump?
No, I'm not for Donald Trump. And I want to say that the change is made for the last 8 years.
Well, I want to say the change
a long way.
Gee, turn around, Jesse's talking to you.
The change that Obama made in last year was for the worst, not for the best. Our economy is now $20 trillion in debt. He has more than double the debt that President Bush left. The foreign policy that we have is now completely gone. America is not respected the way we were 8 years ago.
I disagree because the deficit has been cut down under 60%.
Jeannie, hold tight a minute because we have a big town hall here. Ambet, what were you trying to say?
I wanted to respond to Jesse.
Yeah,
that is not accurate. Right. First of all, when Barack Obama came into office, this country was basically spiraling out of control. The debt that you're talking about was something that he inherited from the Bush administration for 2 wars that were not accounted for or paid for. So we cannot blame Barack Obama
that Hillary
for
Clinton voted for too.
No, we are talking about.
She did.
I'm responding to Jesse, and even the jobs. I mean, this country was actually basically broke when Barack Obama came into office. So it's a little bit disingenuous for them. I mean, Republicans to actually say that Barack Obama created all this crisis when he actually bailed out the country.
I think
from
Obama
all the
administration really failed us.
Left behind.
Obama administration failed us in foreign policies across the board. I think by pulling out prematurely from Iraq, they destabilized the region. They created ISIS. In the last few years, we've seen terrible disasters. And yes, $20 trillion did not exist when he took office. And Obama administration has weakened our position around the world, and I don't see that changing with the Clinton administration.
I disagree.
I think we have, if we get a Republican president, they can try to restore our defense and foreign policies that we need.
The Republican administration that he came after did all the things that you're accusing him of. So no, he did not.
Hillary Clinton started the war in Libya. She was primarily responsible for taking out Gaddafi.
So town hall, do you know what this is proving to everybody who's watching this around the world? Not all US immigrants are thinking the same thing. There is no such thing as an immigrant bloc. Meanwhile, Malika, where do you want to take us?
I'm actually glad that that's how you pivoted from that conversation.
Okay.
Because, so take a look at my laptop. This is a series of tweets we just got. So this is Akash, who says, as an outside observer, I feel bad for the American voter choice between two least popular candidates marred in controversy. Someone immediately wrote him back. This is Maria, who says, even with Hillary Clinton's faults, she's exponentially better. Don't use false equivalency comparing them. So just shows you the divide online. But what that means for people is that they want to make sure their voices are being heard, even if they don't really like their choices. So we got a video comment from someone called Anakwa in New York, and he shares his concern that maybe his voice isn't being heard. Have a listen to what he told us.
Well, it's undisputable that Black immigrants in general tend to be invisible in American politics. So that you have progressive candidates like Hillary Clinton and Bernie, for that matter, who during their primaries had outreach teams for Hispanic immigrants and Asian immigrants, but there was none for the Black immigrant community. Not even here in New York, where that's not a small bloc. So it seems to me that it's a tactical decision, but I definitely didn't feel like candidates were reaching out for my votes.
Loida, in today's current society, when we talk about immigration, do you think most people, when they bring something to mind, they bring a face to mind, do you think they bring a face like yours to mind?
No, they don't, but there's a historical context to that. For instance, the Latino immigrant has, as a legacy, been in the United States for a longer period of time. They're also coalesced around a single language, and so you have an African diaspora community that includes 50 plus from the continent plus the Caribbean diaspora. And at any given point, you're talking about a whole lot of folks with a what some would argue maybe not more than that, as far as when it comes to ideals and political perspectives, because so many of us come from different types of backgrounds, from folks fleeing internal conflicts in their countries of origin, to folks coming here for a better higher education, to diplomats, and the list goes on. That being said, in the last couple of years, there has been a progressive movement to bring the African diaspora voice more to the political forefront. It's still, in its cycle, but even inside that group, you're going to hear very many perspectives from folks that are traditionally conservative, feeling that maybe that means they have to go for Trump, and or folks that understand and or see that his vitriolic like the legacy that he leaves will more than likely disenfranchise us even more so than we are right now.
I think that...
Yeah, go ahead, Raphael. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that President Obama is going to go down in history for being one of the worst presidents in the United States. And you know what? I think that that's going to happen tomorrow. I think Donald Trump is going to get more votes than what everybody is expecting to get from the African American community. I never seen so many celebrities supporting Donald Trump. So I think tomorrow he's going to have more than President than McCain, than Mitt Romney. Tomorrow is going to be a big surprise from the African American community.
McCain and Romney both fell to President Obama, and it's been around the world that President Obama has been noted as the best president of the U.S. so far. Now, up until he won his
American president.
So I disagree.
So town hall, Jeannie, your disagreement.
I disagree.
Your disagreement is noted. Raphael, hold tight for a moment, because let me just bring in Anthony. Raphael.
Like him.
Raphael,
no Latin American. It's an ally of the United
Raphael,
States.
you threw in the verbal grenade.
Policies.
Stand back for a moment. Anthony, respond. Go ahead.
Well, let me give you an example. I'm a lifetime Democrat, or I was, until 6 years ago. I supported Obama on both elections. And I am so disgusted with him. Okay. I am so disappointed. I am now a Republican. I'm going to be a lifetime Republican. I'm not going to change. If you want to see how things are different, Donald Trump came to Albuquerque, came to New Mexico twice. I was at both events. Hillary Clinton blew us off. She didn't care about the Hispanics here in New Mexico.
President Obama.
Oh, give me a break. So why can Donald Trump can come here 2 times?
So we have it's interesting. We have a couple split. So Maya, sitting next to hubby Anthony, is going to vote differently. Maya, respond to Anthony.
Yeah, I want to say something, because it's different in our circumstance, like the people that is coming from other continents, like the people that come from Mexico. Like Hispanic immigrant, I have different circumstances to the other people, and I can believe that their circumstances are really terrible. But let me tell you something. I hear Donald Trump talking about that he wants to get legal immigration. But for my country, for Mexico, when the salary is too low, the people can afford to pay for a visa just for come legally. And even after that, you need to pay for a permit too for can come here. And even with that, when you are here in this country with this discrimination, like I feel for myself, I'm resident. I come to this country since I was 10 years old. And when I got my residence, I was traveling for come back because I had my dental office in Mexico. So I'm not the person that Donald Trump described. I'm not like a criminal. I'm not somebody that the people be afraid about me because I'm going to do something in this country. And I'm working so hard for improve the people, the Hispanic immigration people, all the people that come here for learn the language, for get capacitation, for prove that we can be really productive to this country. And I always try that the people understand that if they can just stop to see us like a problem and they can explode our talent for this, develop in this country can be different. Because
so Myra, I'm going to jump in there because I like that.
We are in a problem.
Myra, I really like that phrase you just used. if people could stop seeing us as a problem. So being a member of a community that society also sees as a problem, Muslims, I want to pivot to this next tweet we got. This is a tweet we got from Jim, and Saba, this is for you. Jim cites an earlier quote, you made it at a different time, but what I want us to pick up on is he says, you seem to be representing the inexplicable Muslims for Trump movement. He includes a picture of you on today's show. It's something that a lot of people can't wrap their head around. What is it about Trump for you that makes sense?
Well, I'm very disappointed in the Democratic policies. I mean, I voted for Obama in 2008, but it was the hope and change he talked about. We have yet to see any change, and the hope was destroyed. And I feel like the foreign policies and domestic policies, Obama has weakened our position around the world. And as a Muslim American, yes, I was a little offended when Trump made some statements against our community. But at the same time, now he has toned down his rhetoric, and it's because Muslims got involved with his campaign and are engaging with Republicans. If we stay out of it, then the ignorance will only prevail, and we can't afford to do that as a community. I feel strategically we need to lobby Republicans, and especially a Donald Trump presidency shows signs of a good, strong person with a successful business background, and I think that he can turn the economy around, create jobs, balance the budget, things that we really need.
Saba, Jeannie, hold tight for a moment, because I really want to hear AJ and Sana come into this conversation. You heard what Saba said. AJ and Sana, how would you respond?
What I don't understand is how can Trump create jobs? The guy has never ran a government. He has run a business. He has always been, always done things for his personal interest. He has not spent
Obama
a day.
has on-the-job experience he took. He never ran any office, and we put somebody like that into the president's
Jesse,
position.
allow AJ to finish. Go ahead, AJ. Yeah, please do. Go ahead.
I think the point I'm trying to make is that here is Hillary, who has spent all her life in public service. And there is a guy who stands up, a billionaire, who has made money all his life by taking care of his own interest, filing bankruptcies, gaming the system in America, and becoming extremely wealthy. Now, suddenly, he is going to know how to run the government. He's going to know how to run America. He's going to know how to run this.
Based on old economist
he's not a traditional career politician.
Hillary Clinton has been doing public service.
All right, studio guests, one at a time. Saba, you said he's not a career politician.
Exactly, and he has successful business tracker. He's
taken
advantage of
lost
the tax.
$1 billion.
Where did she get her millions from? She's net worth is about $30 to $40 million. Where did she get her $30 to $40 million?
So we're getting a little sliver, everybody, of that Trump versus Clinton. This is why I like Clinton. This is why I like Trump. Malika, where would you like us to go next?
I'd like us to go to a comment we got from Ramesh Kilawan, who's actually the father of a member of a stream team. And these are his thoughts on this election cycle. Have a listen.
As a Guyanese immigrant migrated since 1985, this presidential elections will definitely affect me. The two candidates are wide apart where jobs are concerned, where immigration is concerned, and these are issues that really will affect me. My past experiences tells me that in the United States of America, many elections are not free from FEAR, fear, because of my experiences of rigged and violent intimidation to the voters.
Emma, in a sentence or two, fear, is that ruling this election for you? How big of a role is that playing?
No, I think I don't fear anything, because I have confidence in this country and the faith in the people of this country that fear and intimidation would not work for anybody. And the rhetoric is just rhetoric. I mean, there's nobody that's going to go out and do anything. But there is an anxiety of what's going to happen. What are we going to wake up to? What kind of world are we going to wake up to? What kind of America are we going to wake up to?
All right, that's
such
a good thought to end part one on. I want to show you our Skype town hall. Have a look who's out there on our town hall. Just part one. Have a look at all of those faces. We have the studio back here. We will continue part two on the next edition of the stream. The Immigrant Town Hall, you can be part of that as well. Election 2016, we're almost there. Almost. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, how are you?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
How are my Republican brothers and sisters doing?
No, I'm surprised that you are from El Salvador and you are a Republican.
Tell them where your father's from.
My dad is Salvadorian.
Thank
And
God.
I understand
Thank
that
God
you are
for
living
that.
here for more than 30 years, right?
That's good. I'm proud of your
When was
dad.
the last
You
time
should
that
be-
you went to El Salvador?
I go to El Salvador at least 6 times a year. I go there a lot, and that's one of the
But you
things
know,
that I
you
want to
understand
talk
that El
about. So much
Salvador is one of
corruption
the
going on
countries that
in El Salvador, in Mexico, all over Latin America, and that's why we need to elect Donald Trump, because he's not gonna give blank checks anymore to all these corrupted politicians that
But
we
you
have
know
in Central
that
America.
El Salvador is one of the
How do
countries
you
that the
even
people
know
can
that?
come here with permit for work. It's the only country in America can do it, but that don't work for Mexicans. You know what is the cost for a visa for come here like tourists in Mexico? $450. Even if they don't give you the visa, you need to pay $450.
But you have to understand, you have millions of people. In El Salvador, we only have 7 million people. You have more than 100 million people living in Mexico. Hello.
I'm ready.
That's the big difference.
Viva Trump.
I don't like him.
You had to sneak that in, right?
Ay, ay, ay.
You don't like him and you're voting for him?
I didn't say I'm voting for Trump yet. I
Awfully
didn't
no.
say that.
I did.
Awfully no. You have chance
Sorry.
until tomorrow for think about.
Okay.
But we have already voted for Hillary.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have voted
I
already.
did, and it's not because I
Hillary
support her. It's just because, I think that we are in a time that is very important for not just for the United States, for the rest of the world, because we are in a global relations. So we need to be really smart the way that we're going to vote for the next president of the United States.
In
My
a
wife is
two-party system, you cannot have a perfect choice ever. You will always have to compromise.
And I want to speak to that because we don't necessarily agree with Hillary 100% either, but we will support her 100%. And I mean, that might not add up in people's minds, but you have to understand that disagreements fuel democracy, and we disagree to be better, and we challenge each other to be stronger, and the freedom to do so is what makes this country great. And so you don't necessarily have to agree with her 100%.
Exactly.
And the history tells us what happened when you put somebody that have like that mentality like he has, like Donald Trump has, and just create hate about the world. And that is really sad. That is the bad part in Donald Trump.
But we're a little bit different. I don't ready.
Round 2.
Hi, I'm Femi OK.
I'm Malika Vilal, and you're in the stream. Voting is underway for the next president of the United States. In part 2 of our special stream town hall, we continue our conversation with people from one key voter bloc, immigrants and naturalized citizens.
We're about to hear where they stand on some of the key issues and how they feel about the run-up to the 2016 election.
We asked immigrants to the United States to describe the 2016 race to the White House in one word. Here's just a sample of what we heard back. Words like confused, terrified, exhausted, stressed, and one positive word in there, motivated. Now remember, we want to hear from you as well. Keep your comments and your questions for our panelists coming. Don't forget to use our special hashtag StreamElects.
Joining our Stream Town Hall today, Saba Ahmed is president of the Republican Muslim Coalition. She emigrated to the United States from Pakistan. Jeannie Nguyen is president of the Voice of Vietnamese Americans. She came to the US as a refugee from Vietnam. Jesse Singh is founder of Sikh Americans for Trump. He emigrated to the United States from India.
Joining us via Skype, Loida Zorge is an immigration lawyer. Her family, originally from Mozambique, immigrated to the United States from France. Myra Campos Segura and her husband Anthony Segura. Myra immigrated to the U.S. from Mexico. Rafael Flores is a Republican political consultant. He immigrated to the U.S. from El Salvador. AJ and his daughter Sana Siddiqui. AJ is an accountant and immigrated to the United States from Pakistan, and Sana was born in the U.S.
And Emma Bet Bakala, she is an insurance agent and she emigrated to the US from Ethiopia. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, voters, for part 2 of the town hall. How are you feeling so close to finding out who will be the next president of America? Are you feeling in a good mood? Are you feeling positive? How are we feeling?
I feel very motivated because we had the first lady president of the U.S.
Oh, that is confidence.
Who is the most qualified candidate ever.
Oh,
she
wow.
has tremendous experience in economy, in embracing immigrants. She has the most inclusive policy for immigrants. And she's most inclusive
that's
in
the mindset that the Hillary Clinton supporters.
That's been supported. That's been supported by the past.
That's the mindset the Hillary Clinton supporters have.
Yeah.
That because she's a female, every female is
No,
going to
this
vote
is
for
based
her.
on her experience.
This is not
based on the
true.
past.
That is what Democrats have been doing for years. They think they have a lockdown on immigrants. They have a lockdown on women, and that is not true.
Ginny and Jesse, hold tight for a moment. What a way to get started for this part 2 of the town hall debate. We're listening to voters who are immigrants in the US and their perspective. Let me just go to AJ and Sana as well. What do you want to add right at the beginning?
Here's what I have to say. When you come to America, when you're coming by the ocean, the first thing you see is Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty is the welcoming signal or sign to the rest of the world to come to America. We are welcoming immigrants. And I don't know if you know the inscriptions on the Statue of Liberty about give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. That was the America that really I came to, and fell in love with and stayed here for this long. Now I see America changing, and I am concerned. I am concerned for the next generation, because I have
the Democrats are destroying America. All the liberal Democrats.
No, Hillary advocated for embracing refugees, and I was a refugee, and I am thankful for that. I think freedom is what we're seeking, and we're also seeking equality, justice, and that is exactly what Hillary advocated for and stand for. So I am for Hillary Clinton.
One thing here, Mr. Trump has never said he's against immigration. He's against illegal immigration. There's a big difference between legal and illegal immigration.
But he said, oh, immigrants
Statue
are
of Liberty
rapists, and
stands
that's
for
not
legal
acceptable.
immigration. Statue of Liberty does not stand for illegal immigration.
He
said,
wants to put
voters, just
put out the country 11 million immigrants.
He said it's okay to stop and frisk, and that's not acceptable.
Voters,
that's racial.
Give me a moment, because it's been a long year. And so I think people have heard a lot of the comments that the candidates have both said. So we don't need to paraphrase any of their comments, but we do need to move on to Malika.
Well, you guys are all talking on your very varying different points on immigration. That's also the comment that someone sent us. This is Bassem Padlia, and these are his views on immigration policy.
Even though I got lucky and I got my citizenship this September, I still feel that this is the main concern I have for the 2016 elections. Illegal immigration has been declining for more than a decade, and immigrants are still the majority of the US Nobel laureates, STEM researchers, and the founders of major IT giants. There is no reason for immigration to not hold the same positive outlook it has always had in US history. And this is the main issue for me in the 2016 elections.
So Myra, I'll give that to you. I know you became a citizen in March. Congratulations on that. Are you happy with either of the candidates' immigration policies?
Well, you know, it's for me, when I get my citizenship was one of the goals, because I started to hear terrible things about the immigration, especially the Hispanic immigration. And I can't believe how somebody that is thinking that all the Hispanic immigrant and criminals, and he can generalize about that. Can you imagine what's going to happen in the future? And if all the Hispanic people, wherever that they go, we're going to be like criminals. And we can prove that that is not true. The people that come here, especially for the countries that are really poor, is people that is very hard worker. So that's what I said again. They need to see us in another way, like somebody that they can explode.
Yeah, but the truth is that the people that he's talking about, we have a lot of criminals. We have a lot of drug people coming up. We're on New Mexico. We're straight up the pipeline for all the drugs and the criminals crossing the border.
Yep.
So
Hillary advocates for not letting gangs go into. But immigrants are not all criminals. We need to make the distinction. Now,
I think
human resources and immigrants is the base of our country.
Just give me a moment, because obviously you're all immigrants. You all have a point of view. Loida, what did you want to say? Let's have a listen to Loida for a moment. Go ahead, Loida.
I wanted to say it's kind of ridiculous when you talk about how Trump is not for illegal immigration. To be frank and to be just, let's use our language responsibly. Hillary is not for illegal immigration. She's for fixing a very broken system so that people can utilize the system and enter in legally. She's not saying open up the borders, everyone run through. So when you use that type of language to say Trump
wants
is the
to
only
bring in more than
supporter for
500,000 refugees from Syria without even vetting them.
Do you know how vetting
without vetting them? We don't even have a vetting system in place.
Time out. The vetting process for a refugee to enter into the United States sometimes takes over 2 years. It's ridiculous to talk about it as if
right
all
now
you have
the
to do is
Department
sign
of Justice,
a paper.
Immigration don't even know how many have come, how many have left. They have no clue who's coming into our border and who's leaving. And Donald Trump only said we should put a temporary ban for people coming from certain areas of the world where there's a conflict going on until we can find a better system to vet it.
See,
I'm sorry. The refugee process includes the United Nations, the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of State. To say that people are just creeping over from Syria and we're being mobbed
Well,
is
if you're
so
bringing in
irresponsible.
thousands of
So
people, there is no way to monitor every single person's
I
background.
came as refugee
I think
and I
Trump
went through the process.
Jeannie, hold tight, because Summer was speaking, so just allow her to finish speaking, and then you can go ahead.
Trump has brought comprehensive immigration reform to the forefront. He is the one who brought immigration debate to the table when Democrats did not pass through anything when they got elected in 2008. Trump has called for a vetting of refugees who are coming in by the thousands, and that's because there's ISIS trying to penetrate those groups. And if we don't allow, if we don't vet them, we're going to have serious terrorism problems. And I think every country has a right to defend themselves and have secure borders, so that we're monitoring every single person who's coming in and going out of the country.
Yeah, yes, they are. Look at what happened in France and Germany. They had terrorists as disguised as refugees coming in. I'm so disappointed that you do not learn from what happened in France and Germany.
Jesse, you keep saying things that are untrue. And first of all, I mean, let's not worry about what's going on somewhere else, but let's talk about what Donald Trump says, okay? Donald Trump seems to think that he could say anything he wants about immigrants, about women, about everybody that he wants, and not be held accountable for the things that he says. First of all, he's
what
the
does
guy
Hillary Clinton have said? She has called half of Donald Trump's supporters as deplorables. So, I mean, there's millions of Americans supporting Donald Trump, including immigrants, so we are all deplorables now? And what Obama and Hillary Clinton has done is they have betrayed the minorities in America. They have betrayed us. They have betrayed Muslims. Obama had promised that he's going to shut down Guantanamo Bay. Why is Guantanamo Bay still open after 8 years?
We were refugees, and we felt insulted by Donald Trump. Because in my family, we went through the whole long process. And in my family now, we have 4 doctors, 4 pharmacists, and 2 IT technicians. My son now is a naval researcher, scientist. So we contributed back to this country, and we're not criminals. So there has to be a distinction made. And I think the path
to citizenship. He said only people coming from the troubled areas of the world.
He insulted us.
Because we are talking so much about Trump's words, I want to share just 2 tweets because we're talking about Trump's words, what people on Twitter think about his words from those both sides of the aisle. This is Louis, who says, although he's been vulgar at times, his quote-unquote outsider status and message to end corruption and pay to play resonates with us. On the other hand, this is someone else's view. Abdullah, he says, Trump has no respect for women, race, or religion, and discriminates against them is what he means in that tweet. But I want to pivot just a little bit to go to a voice that we haven't heard from a lot in this discussion. This is a tweet we got sent to us from a regular streamer. This is Hen Meki, and you posted this on Facebook, Sana Siddiqui. Today, 1 disabled person, 2 immigrants, 3 nasty women. That's a play on a phrase that was heard at the debate. And 4 Muslims voted. And there's a picture of you and your family, Sana. When you went out to vote, what was the issue that was biggest or at the forefront of your mind?
Sure. You know, the kind of the message and the reason behind the picture that I posted, and that speaks on what I believe the issues are that need to come to the forefront, is there have been many politicians that have attempted to, you know, strip me of my values, demean and degrade my beliefs. But there is one thing that they absolutely cannot do, and that is to strip my identity as an American and my right to vote. And so this election was not only an election to vote the candidate that, you know, we deem most qualified for the position, but this was an election to show, hey, we're here, we've been here, we matter, and we're Americans. And if you're going to talk about us, then listen to us and involve us as well.
I want to bring up the topic of economy and how important is the economy to you? We all come to this conversation where we're all, apart from Malika, as immigrants in the United States, but the economy, extremely important, says one of the voters. Let's have a listen to how the candidates dealt with some key economy issues. Check this out.
I am going to renegotiate NAFTA. And if I can't make a great deal, then we're going to terminate NAFTA and we're going to create new deals. We're going to have trade. But we're going to terminate it. We're going to make a great trade deal.
I have said repeatedly throughout this campaign, I will not raise taxes on anyone making $250,000 or less.
She's been doing this for 30 years. Why the hell didn't you do it over the last 15, 20 years? You were very much involved. Excuse me, my turn. You were very much involved in every aspect of this country, very much. And you do have experience. I'd say the one thing you have over me is experience, but it's bad experience because what you've done has turned out badly.
When I saw the final agreement for TPP, I said I was against it. It didn't meet my tests. I've had the same tests. Does it create jobs, raise incomes, and further our national security? Against it now. I'll be against it after the election. I'll be.
Raphael, your turn.
Yes.
Yeah. Economy.
Listen, me especially, I'm going to tell you, and I'm almost 90% sure that I will give him my vote tomorrow because, you know, 90%? I told you at the beginning.
What's the 10% doubt?
90%.
No, all right.
In the next, because we had a dinner here with my wife, my kids, and we brought this issue yesterday, and we still haven't decided. You know, I'm like my friend over there and his wife from Mexico.
So Trump was wrong about NAFTA and jobs. NAFTA did not make us lose jobs. During the time of NAFTA, we created 20 million jobs.
Jeannie, allow Raphael to finish his thought. Go ahead, Raphael.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton is if she becomes the next president, she will be the worst president, just like Obama. Nothing is going to change. Especially, we need this radical changes in Central America, Mexico, in South America, too much corruption going on, and we just keep giving these Central American countries money and money and money. The law enforcement agency, I was talking to one of them yesterday, and he's telling me Obama is so weak in Latin America. That's why we need someone
let's focus here.
like
Let's
Donald
focus
Trump.
on economy. You said
very
economy
strong.
was extremely important, and then you went around a lot of different issues.
Well,
Let's get
because
back to
I don't know if
economy.
I'm going to have enough time to get across my message to you. But
You're
I
taking your
have to
moment.
tell you these things that
Can I
are
talk
very,
about
very
the economy
important.
here? I mean, our companies are leaving us because of NAFTA. All the manufacturers have gone across the border, either into Mexico and Canada. All our IT jobs and high-tech jobs have been exported out to India. So why are we not doing something about it? And Donald Trump is the only candidate who has come across and have taken this issue by the horns. And he wants to change this.
Something about it. Since Obama first became president, he has tried to do things about it. He has tried to bring jobs back, and now our jobs has excel.
Nothing.
Our unemployment rate now
Since
is
Obama
down
became
to
president.
1%.
So town hall, just go a moment. There's something that I heard that Loida said, and Loida, you say that to Saba, and then see what Saba has to say back. Loida, repeat it.
Well, when I hear about Obama and what he didn't do, et cetera, and how, as you were saying, Trump is the only one to take it by the bull by the horns, what has he actually said besides, I've got a great plan, it's going to be a great plan? I mean, at some point you have to hold people accountable to actually break down how great this plan is. And Trump really is not a man of details.
He's
He's
created
not.
thousands of jobs, and I'm quite confident he would be the best president for our economy.
Have you ever gone to his website?
He's a businessman. He has a successful track record of creating thousands of jobs all across the United States, and he understands the economy. He understands balancing budget. He can really turn things around in Washington.
Did he bankrupt?
Have you ever?
And how many?
Obama has made America bankrupt. We have $20 trillion in debt. We are almost in bankruptcy. Obama has.
That's not true. That's not true. Obama has cut the deficit 60% and has brought many jobs back.
Why do we have $20 trillion in debt?
Ladies and gentlemen of the town hall, take a pause. Take a collective pause. Malika.
So I'm going to move us away from the economy to social issues, because that's another thing that people are voting for. This is a video comment we got from Luis. He explains his story. It's pretty gripping. Have a listen.
8 years ago, I arrived in this country. I came here because I was fleeing persecution in my home country, Ecuador, because of being gay. In 2009, I was granted refugee status, and 4 months ago, I became a U.S. citizen. I will be able to vote on Tuesday. With my vote, I will be saying I want my country to remain a country for all, and especially, I want my country to remain open for people like me, who at some point in their lives had no other place to go.
Jeannie, I could see you nodding there, and you've mentioned that you came to the U.S. as a refugee. You were 16. You were in a small boat with your aunts and uncles.
I was very thankful for that the U.S. took us in and embraced refugees and treat us with dignity. So I think it's very important. We need to make the distinction between immigrants, refugees, and criminals. Nobody supports criminals, and we were not criminals. But about the economy, I would say that immigrants and refugees, we contributed back, and the economy today is much, much different and better than 8 years ago when we received it from President Bush. But I would like to say that Hillary has a different plan to move forward farther than Obama. And we should not just delve into what Obama has done.
I like that you pivoted back to jobs, but I actually want to pivot again, just because this comment had a lot of things in it. Jobs wasn't one of them. I'm going to actually.
That has to do with social too.
Exactly.
Because
I'm just going to pivot a little bit to Saba, because he mentioned he was fleeing because he is a gay man. What are your thoughts on social issues that someone like Luis is afraid of a president who may not recognize those rights?
Well, I think, we do have the law of the land, and under the Supreme Court now, all 50 states grant status to all, regardless of what your personal beliefs are. As a country, we welcome all people. But I think, just wedding people and making sure that whoever is coming into the country for our own security and safety is very important. And Trump offers he's invited all businessmen. He wants to make this country prosperous. Wealthy, safe, secure America is everybody's dream. We all want to see a safer America. We all want to welcome everybody from all around the world, but at the same time, make sure that our domestic policies are also strong and that help all Americans, not just, immigrants or any other one group. I think immigrants are the backbone of the United States, as we are all from different parts of the world, and we're living the American dream. And I think it's very important that we continue seeing that under a strong Republican administration.
It's important for Muslim and for Middle Eastern women, and especially American women, that women's rights is being respected here in the U.S. as well. So I feel strongly that Trump did not recognize a woman as a human being that is equal to him. Even the way that he treated his wife, Ivanka, that he read her as a wife. I witnessed and I heard many things Trump said about women.
That is so wrong.
We almost got through part 1 and part 2 of the town hall without going there.
That is
socially,
that's
that's unacceptable.
Statements like that the Hillary campaign is making, that's going to sink their boat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the town hall, I want to go to the person who I believe is the youngest person in the town hall. Our future, the future of America. Sana, how has this election process been for you?
What I've seen a lot is this idea of unity, and you have one candidate who supports unity and an America for all, but then you have a candidate on the other side that is supporting unity for the select. And obviously that's Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump respectively. And so a lot of the rhetoric that's being thrown around in this election has been truly hard to hear personally for me as a young Muslim woman who is a sister of a disabled woman and the proud daughter of 2 immigrants. So I will say that as much as I have been affected and appalled by the language that's being thrown around in this election, I'm also motivated because I know that my voice counts, and I know that I'm strong enough to state that and to help this country be better.
I just want to go to Anthony and Milo because I am fascinated by your relationship. Not the nitty-gritty of it, but the political part of it. One is going to vote Trump, one is going to vote for Clinton. How are you going to manage on Wednesday? What's going to happen?
We'll get by.
Yeah?
We'll get by. But people have to remember that when Maida came to the United States, and this is something else, people don't think about being persecuted in Mexico. But the reason that my wife is here is because she was a dentist in Mexico with a successful practice.
Yeah.
And the drug lords and everybody started attacking her, started coming after me. They were sending me death threats. They were sending her death threats. I had to get her out of the country. And they don't even think about, if I would have gotten here to the United States, we don't know what would have happened.
Are you still trying to convince each other to vote the other way? Have you just given up?
No.
Basically given up.
I do with him the same that I do with everybody. I think that we need to respect each other's. And the main thing is that everybody has different circumstances. I'm not going to agree with some of the other persons here because, the position of the president is very important and very serious. And I think that we need to treat with respect to the rest of the people.
All right, Myra,
and Donald Trump
I think that's a good
attacking.
I think that's a good note.
Attacking.
It's a good note to pause on, Myra, because there's so much more to talk about. We've got so much in common, so many differences as well. It's been a pleasure spending the town hall with all of you. And then I want to go back via Malika before we wrap up the entire show.
This is a tweet we got from someone who says, whoever wins, there will be some incredibly unhappy people who may get violent depending on the circumstances. In a word, Saba, Jeannie, will you agree to accept the results of the election?
Yes. Yes, I agree. I think both candidates...
2 sides of the aisle right there, and
agree.
yeses.
Thank you, everybody, for watching part 2 of our Immigrant Voters Town Hall. We'll be doing election coverage all on Tuesday and Wednesday. Stay with us on the stream. Take care. Thanks for watching.
So I would say that if Hillary wins, women...